Jeremy Reed joining us on the B lines this morning. The reality of realty and the reality of a new world. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good. Making our way through this, right? Like it's
Yes.
such a different world.
It is.
Yeah. So let's talk about sort of what's going on with you. You're really sort of diving into the idea of innovation at this time.
Yeah. And you know me, we've known each other for a little while now. I'm kind of the eternal optimist. So
yes.
I'm always looking for that silver lining. And one of the things that I'm seeing right now that it gets me really excited is I'm seeing not only a new norm emerge, but I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs that are getting really creative. Mm-hmm. And I'm also seeing a consumer base that is more open to experimenting as well. So it's a nice synergy. Mm-hmm. Whereas before, a lot of the times you'd see businesses that were just locked in one way and this is how we did it.
Yeah.
Now it's really cool out there, and you've probably seen the same thing. Some businesses are just changing the way that they give their services. Some businesses are completely finding new items of value to give to people that are completely outside of what they did before. So there's a lot of change that's happening right now.
Yeah, and I agree. People are really trying to innovate. And what's happening with that in the real estate world? You guys are trying to innovate too, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, it's funny because I've talked to a couple of different entrepreneurs about this. Mm-hmm. And everyone right now is kind of following the same process, whether they're aware of it or not.
Yeah.
And it's neat because you can actually fabricate innovation. So the three steps that everyone's following right now is the first one is they're looking at what is the action that's being restricted.
Okay.
Once they've identified that, the second thing they're looking at, and a lot of us are just making lists of this, what are the results that we're looking to be achieved through those actions?
Okay.
And then once you've made that list, now the question is, how do we deliver the same service in a similar fashion or an enhanced fashion? So to give an example outside of real estate, I've seen restaurants that obviously the action was people going in and eating. The result was to get food. So now they're doing takeout and dine out. Mm-hmm. Then you're also seeing things like restaurants that are now giving away their recipes along with access to their suppliers to take home kits to make these meals as well, mm-hmm. which never existed before.
No.
You're seeing the same thing with, I saw some local hairdressers that are putting out dye kits to their clientele.
Yes,
and then giving YouTube tutorials. And I'm not saying this is the best way to do everything. I mean, there's probably going to be some people that show up with pink hair, but I'm just saying that creative and that willingness to work together as a consumer and an entrepreneur is really making a big difference.
Yeah. And
so in the real estate field, just to kind of give you an example of how we're adapting is now mm-hmm. one of the main restricted actions was obviously showings and looking at homes.
Yeah.
And so when you take a look at, well, why is someone going in and taking a look at a home, mm-hmm. they're usually doing it for elimination. I mean, most people mm-hmm. don't want to go look at 12 or 15 homes, but they have to go through that to eliminate the ones that don't work for them.
Right.
And so we looked at it and said, well, what are the things that people are eliminating homes on? The first one's usually a layout. Mm-hmm. The second one has something to do with location or the neighborhood.
Okay.
The third one has to do with the condition of the home. And
mm-hmm.
the problem was before, marketers or realtors our purpose was to try to sell the home and put it in the best light possible, which
right.
in turn sometimes turned to disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
So now the experience is a little different. When it comes to showing a home, now a lot of it's happening on Zoom. Mm-hmm. Realtors are providing way more information, walkthrough videos that actually point out the good and the bad are becoming the norm.
Okay.
Floor plans, information about the neighborhood. These are all kind of the new norms.
Okay.
And for the consumer, it's nice because rather than having to get up and take the kids out and miss dinner time to go see 12 homes to eliminate 8, we're doing Zoom calls after the kids are in bed. Sometimes you see the clients with a glass of wine in hand, and we're going through these homes individually, eliminating 8, and then only having to look at 4. And with the processes that are in place to keep everyone safe, it's a bit of a chore looking at homes. So it's been a nice experience. So I would imagine things like that are going to continue mm-hmm. on after.
Right.
I just think it's kind of a neat time in that aspect to see all this innovation happen and the creativity come in.
And you're, of course, on the forefront of it. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us today for the reality of realty.
Thanks, Cheryl.